I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel, Net fans? How are you supposed to feel? I mean, all of us were disgusted. Listen to Evan Roberts, who I think is best representative of a real Net fan. He's been a Net fan for years, like myself, so I enjoy listening to him. I thought his recap on his show was spot on. You're disgusted. You don't want to watch anymore. You're tired of looking. Of course, you're going to watch the game. Of course, you want them to win. And there they were. 3-point game with about 4 minutes to go, and you're expecting them to go down. I mean, why else wouldn't you? I mean, it's first of all, they're wearing white, which we've had many talks with the Nets about wearing white at home. Based on so many of their home losses and this past devastating loss to Chicago, would you have been shocked if they blew the game? Of course you wouldn't. Now, offense has not been a problem for the Net team. Offense is not a problem. I mean, they are scoring on the Bulls. The Bulls don't have an answer for Brook Lopez. He is dominating the Bulls from an offensive perspective. Obviously, Darren Williams should be able to dominate a 5'9" guy. Should be. The problem for the Nets, of course, I mean, they were shooting 60% from the floor with 4 minutes to go in that game. So offense isn't the issue. It's the mental toughness to get a stop, to make one play, which they failed to do on Saturday. Now this game is a different story. Made plays down the stretch, got a couple of stops, and of course my buddy Gerald Wallace was brilliant down the stretch. And I know Wallace gets a lot of heat. Many of my buddies tell me I'm nuts for loving him. They hate the contract. But I love Wallace, and I want him on my team. Does he make you bang your head against a wall? Yep. Shot 19% from three-point range. But, I'm loyal to the guy. I mean, there's times I want to throw a brick through the TV, but for the most part, I want the guy on the floor. Now, I don't want him and Reggie on the floor at the same time for long spurts. And, PJ's learning. Fourth quarter was Andre Blatche. And he was the reason the Nets won this game and sent it back to Chicago. He was. Dominant offensive force when he's under control. And the surprise that we got yesterday was that he also played pretty damn well defensively. I mean, he held his own. He got a couple of big contests. Ball went out of bounds late in the game. It's because his hands were active. He had a little hop in his step. Played 20 minutes. He was the reason. He carried them in the fourth quarter. Scored 10 of his 13 in the fourth quarter. I think he had 13. Let me double check that. Might have been more than that. Let's see. Where are you? Bear with me. Should have had this ready, I know. But Blatche had 13. 10 in the fourth. He was 5 for 8 from the floor. You tell me what to expect on Thursday night. You tell me. I mean, will you be shocked if they win in Chicago? Will I be shocked? Nope. Will you be shocked if they win in Chicago and then come home Saturday night and lose Game 7? Nope. The one thing you got in your favor is the Bulls are banged up. Obviously already without Rose. Noah, you got to feel like if he does have plantar fasciitis, and no reason to think he doesn't, you got to feel like he's taking a pounding, and it's can't help that it's going deeper. Who knows how severe Heinrich's injury is? I get the feeling that he'll play. They're talking about him not being available the rest of the series. I think that's bull. I think he'll play. Thursday night. So that's going for the Nets. The Bulls are banged up, and the Nets are relatively healthy. Johnson, I don't know how much health he has, but he seems to be, he looks okay. Whole other story about his decision-making process. While we're on the subject of Johnson, how many misses does he have when he takes the ball to the rim? I mean, is it me, or does he make like 80% of those shots when he backs his guy down, makes a couple moves, gets in the paint? Doesn't he score almost every time? Is there a reason why he just does that late in contests? Is there something against running that play in the first quarter, second quarter? To me, you would think that this guy can get that shot every time, whoever's guarding him. And yet he settles so much for the outside jumper. Now his outside jumper, listen, for his career it's been great, but it's not great this year. His shooting percentage is down. You know, too many fadeaways. What he did the other day on Saturday, the goals that he scored were in the paint, drives, couple of dribbles, back to the basket, made his move to the left, scores on leaners. He seems to make those all the time. So why can't we run those plays in the first and second quarter? Just a thought. Offensively, you know, the Nets have to feel like they can score on Chicago. I mean, this is another 110-point performance. I mean, you're talking about game one was what, a 109? And the last game, game 4, I went to overtime. Forget the 130 something. Look at regulation. It was 111 points in regulation, and that includes scoring 2 points over the last 4 minutes of the game. So they can score against Chicago. The problem the Nets have been plagued with is their three-point shooting has been awful. At one point, they missed 16 straight threes at one point. I believe Darren Williams broke up that streak. They still have a tendency of turning the ball over in big spots. Darren had 4, although he played well. The offensive rebound, they had 16. Let's see, I think there was 16. Might have been more than that. Let's take a look at the offensive rebounds. 17 offensive rebounds. That's pretty impressive. They out-rebounded the Bulls 44-13. Problem that we're having is the Bulls aren't playing D, neither are we. There was a point at which the Bulls were shooting 70% in the second half. It was like 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls were shooting 70%. This is a team that's not known for their offense. So we're not guarding either, but you know, we're playing good offensively, and I thought Wallace had the big play of the game, which was that corner 3, which he never makes. Never makes corner threes. Thought that Tim Capstraw had a good point. Most of Wallace's threes are the ones from straight on, the corner ones he misses. But he made that one, then he got the steal off of Nate. Interesting to see what happens in Game 6. I don't know why Bogans is buried on the bench. That's, to me, troubling. Listen, I know a lot of people love Marshawn Brooks. They want to see him play. They want to see him get minutes. To me, the Bulls are not a good matchup for Brooks. He's soft. The Bulls just start salivating when he comes on the floor. Every Bull can muscle him up and score at will on him, and he just doesn't make great decisions. He's not confident. I don't know why Keith Bogans is not playing. I know Bogans was brutal down the stretch the last 6 or 7 games. I know he was something like 2 for 30 from the floor. I get it. But Bogans has been a force the entire season. He's been a weapon. A knockdown, open three-point shooter for us. He usually gives us 2 or 3 big threes a game. The guy's he's a veteran presence. He's got some balls. He's a defender. I don't know why he's not in the rotation. They throw Brooks in for 5 minutes, and he doesn't even get a shot off. He did end up with an assist, one I don't really remember. But right away, he committed 2 fouls. I mean, the Bulls want to see him in a game. I don't get why Bogans is not playing. I think he has to be a part of this series. You know, Watson played well. Give him credit. Bounced back. Had a couple of key buckets. Reggie doing his thing. 12 boards, 3 offensive. But I want to see Bogans get in the game. Maybe make a stop. But do you have any suggestions why he's not playing? I don't know. The guy played, 80 games as part of your rotation, and you get to the playoffs, and he's not a factor. It doesn't make sense to me. So we'll see. I won't be surprised either way come Thursday. I won't be surprised if they win. I won't be surprised if they lose. To me, I predicted the series to go 7. By the way, if you go back and look at my NBA predictions, so far so good. Obviously, I had Miami. Everybody did. I did say Milwaukee would win 1 game, so I was wrong about that. Had the Knicks winning in 6. They'll probably win in 5. A couple of underdogs I pulled out. Not over yet, but Golden State. Picked Golden State to beat Denver. They're up 3-1. By no stretch is that over, but you like a 3-1 advantage. I picked Memphis to upset the Clippers. That's 2-2. I said Indy and Atlanta would go the distance. That's 2-2. A lot of people thought Indy was going to wipe Atlanta away, and there they are, 2-2. I predicted Oklahoma City to have no trouble with Houston, San Antonio to have no trouble with the Lakers. So far so good. We'll see about my prediction about Brooklyn. I said it would go 7, and I'll still say that. I think the Nets could certainly win in Chicago. Chicago, again, not a great home team. Nets, relatively a good road team. They fight on the road. I think they can get it back to Brooklyn. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost by 10 at home in a game 7. Something weird. This is the way they are. So we'll see what happens. And I got some, obviously, if the off-season comes on Thursday or if it comes on Saturday, I've got some season recaps and some suggestions for next season. But let's hope that we can delay that and we can listen to my boring ass for at least a couple of more days. So let's see what happens in Chicago. Leave me alone.